we came up with say what we eventually called Project TTL. What motivated us to start it out was we started the project when Kenya was experiencing a lot of insecurity. Al-Shabaab were attacking us from all sides. Locally, we're experiencing a lot of criminal cases, and one thing that was coming for sure is we need to upgrade our security systems. So what motivated us was we need, as Kenyans, we need to come up with our own solutions, one of them being our own security solutions. So that was our actually our motivation for this. What started out was we came up with we came up with a system that would communicate with smart card technologies, and which we hoped would be adopted as the next generation ID card. And once every citizen would have it, we would be able to now keep track of movement, monitor flow of citizens in and out of buildings, and in one or the other it would boost our security in terms of knowing where people are, who was where, when what happened. And yes, I believe that was our project. The smart card technology, basically what we're using was a RFID technology, which is technology that exists, but how we were using it is that we'd tag each and every one with or we'd actually we'd tag you, like we'd issue you a card, and that card had your details. With the details, we'd be able to now monitor your movement, say where you are, where you've been. So in circumstances where, like we say, an emergency occurs, a building has collapsed, we'd have accurate data within who is inside, where they were. If in the event of a criminal case or like some mischievous activities, we'd be able to now pinpoint who was exactly where. Because one of the things that we saw is the day we came up with this, the police had arrested almost 100 people for some, I think there was some bombing. Yeah, there's some blast that had occurred, and 100 people, wherever you were, as long as you were just passing by, you were thrown into the police vehicle and taken to jail or whatever. So one thing that came about was that we need to have accurate systems that can actually pinpoint who was there at that particular time, and such systems will be able to come in and now make the country safe.
Okay, we decided to start with it stage-wise, and since our plan was more like for the whole country, we couldn't immediately go, or more like start with it or deploy the whole thing in the whole country immediately. So we started small, and we have stages that we decided to more like work with. So we decided to start with small institutions and businesses as well, and slowly we'll progress from now small institutions to maybe now go to maybe an actual, maybe Jkuat could be one. Then after that, then we'll move to probably a certain community or within regions, and eventually we'll have the whole country using the whole system, the system. And that way, and actually our system will be perfect when everyone uses our technology.
Actually, how the idea evolved is that first we had started by an idea of alongside Mombasa we have the ferry services, and at that place it's usually crowded by so many people who want to rush into that ferry, and most of the time you'd find maybe you have heard of incidences where you find that the ferry collapsed because of overload. Find so many people just rushing because it's normally at the rush hour where you find people want to move in masses. And so the initial idea came up with Kim, where he suggested why can't we make a device which would actually regulate the flow of people into the ferry by counting the number of people that are getting in, and possibly even taking their weight to prevent overload. Because if the ferry overloads, then it risks the whole mass that is inside that ferry. It risks their lives, you see. So we thought of that idea, which could actually be used to regulate the flow of people in and out of the ferry, so that you can have that secure travel from one side to the other. So that is how the idea started. It started as a sketchy idea, and we started thinking of it. But then it got to a point and we asked ourselves, why can't we now take this one from just regional to national? By now thinking in terms of now, not just adding to an extra card, but using one card to cover up almost everything. That is why we now came up with the idea of having now an ID, because an ID is one common thing between all people. So we thought, why can't we come up with an ID? Why can't we use this idea, and the ID card, the national identity card, could be now our target, where one card, which is now the ID card, could now incorporate so many of these details as he has just explained. And because of the kind of insecurity that is in the country as of late, where you'd find that almost in every building, before you enter, you have to get so much scanning. You have to be scanned in and out, and first and foremost also, after scanning you'll find that some institutions or organizations tell you that leave your ID here and write your details, and then when you go in, when you're coming out, you'd pick your ID card and go. So we thought that we could actually digitalize this whole thing, because even keeping of those records, you'd find that it is very cumbersome. So we thought, why can't we add that feature in the national identity card, and instead of now collecting data when people are going into an institution, collecting data physically, like taking manual records, we could now be having systems that could be reading that card wirelessly, and therefore allowing you in and out of places and logging those details inside a database. And that could actually now be able to improve on the processing ability of that information, so that when you have things like disasters occurring, you could have rapid processing of that information. You could know who was where at what time. Yeah, and that could greatly reduce the insecurity that is in the country, because each and every person is expected to have an ID. And therefore, when we have these things rolled out in each and every place, each and every institution, then you'd find that it boosts the security, and also it increases the access time. Instead of people queuing in a line to get those logs done so that they can enter, for example, you have a mass flow of people in and out of a place, you could now have those readers which are quite fast in picking and processing that information.
One of our slogans is solutions for Kenya by Kenyans. So as much as we might want to focus on what the other countries have done, our main aim is to come up with a solution that will cater for our own needs. Yes. So in terms of maybe other countries, what I know is a country like I think Canada. Canada have an integrated ID with their driver's license, and as per what the data that was the information was given by a colleague, it runs on the same platform, but I don't think to that extent at which we want ours to run on.
So we won the Tech Expo 5.0. That was last year, 2014. I'd say winning always comes down to planning. So I'd also add that we were well prepared, and we tackled it to our best of our ability. And after giving it all we believed was our best, I think we achieved the results. I think there's no way one will have an idea and actually fully implement it at a snap. So there's a rolling phase, and I'd say by identifying the SMEs and trying to have the system installed in the common organizations and organizations around town, and even our homes if possible, that's a way of letting people know how good the system is and how the system is helpful to Kenyans in the country, and eventually having maybe the final or the future, we will have it as now fully rolled out, and now the country could be able to adapt it. So I'd say baby steps.
We actually have already I have gave us an opportunity to pilot test the product we had made. The one we had for the Tech Expo was more like a prototype. So I have provided us a place to more make a product and actually be in a form that can be used in the market, which we managed to do. And one of the systems that's been there has been working since last year August, and still works okay even now. We're also able to install another one within the same premises, and that has been working I think from February. and still working okay. And we're actually even doing another one, and hopefully we're going to do even more and slowly have the whole system in the country.